Hello, fellow humans. Chris here again. So, today, and probably for the next couple of days, I actually wanted to do a short series on 9/11 and the 20-year anniversary, and just kind of my thoughts on a few things, kind of looking at it from a few different angles. I want to talk about what the experience was like for me at the time, how it kind of affected my thinking and my values, and how it plays into where I'm at today, and also where society is at today, and where it was then, where it was before then. So, I'm gonna release a couple different videos over the next few days. For this first one, I wanted to talk about freedom and why I don't think it actually exists. At least uh, not in the context of a civilized society. So to kind of backtrack 20 years or so, I was a senior in high school, and we had this assignment to write an essay. The thesis was, or the prompt, I should say, was "What price freedom?" Which I thought was a very odd question. I thought grammatically didn't quite make sense, but I guess it was supposed to roll off the tongue easier. What is the price of freedom, or what does freedom cost? I guess something like that is the intent. And I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but imagine I wrote something about the security requirements that had come about as a result of 9/11, the Patriot Act, civil liberties, things like that, and how there's an irony in that the costs of freedom kind of preclude freedom itself. And so I believe, and certainly George Carlin, who was somebody that I grew up watching religiously, he had a bit about the owners of this country and how you have no rights, you have owners. I basically agree with that. If you've seen that bit, and today you see it now with the vaccine mandates that President Biden just actually brought up today. Already the cries of you're stomping on my freedoms, my liberties. I just don't believe there is freedom, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I just think that if we had freedom, we wouldn't have had to, we wouldn't have had taken this long to implement gay marriage as a fundamental right. The struggles that we go through as a country, we're never going to be done. We're never going to reach perfection, and I think that that's sort of the point of progressivism. But if you look at a structured society, freedom is impossible. Pure, true, unadulterated freedom is impossible. There's always going to be a check somewhere. There's always going to be an asterisk there, or a condition of some sort. A good analogy that I've found is zoos for animals. I've had mixed feelings in the past about zoos, sanctuaries, and things like that, things that keep animals enclosed. But I watch a lot of nature videos, and there is a lot of brutality that goes on in the animal kingdom. If you've ever seen a Komodo dragon, uh, yeah, they do some pretty crazy stuff. Their venom paralyzes the victims, and they just basically eat them alive at their leisure. You could argue that those animals are free. They don't have a government. They don't have laws. They don't go to jail. They don't pay taxes. But they also live under extreme conditions where they can be eaten alive anytime. Animals in the zoo, you look at them, oftentimes, you see a lion, the lion looks depressed, the lion is not roaring, they're not hunting, they're not living their natural life. They're also not being eaten alive, and they tend to live longer, much longer than their counterparts in the wild, because they're not fighting against nature and survival of the fittest. When a lion can't run quite as fast as he used to, he can't catch food anymore, he starves to death. So those are kind of two extremes, obviously, of pure freedom, pure safety. There's somewhere in the middle that you find yourself in a civilized society. I don't think you can have pure freedom without the destruction that comes with living in the wild, because there's no one catch-all definition of freedom that everybody's going to subscribe to. At the same time, that lion in the zoo is he's under tyranny. He can't leave. He's literally in a cage. He's enslaved. I don't think that for people that either one of those extremes is where we want to be. There probably are some that do, but on a whole, there's got to be some kind of middle ground there. And so I would just challenge that sentiment about our freedoms being violated right now with vaccine mandates. People have said that about everything up until now. Seatbelts were a good example. Every law is a violation of your presumed freedoms. Some laws are good, some laws not so good, but I don't think that a truly free society would have any laws. If everybody was harmonious with each other, if everybody could just respect each other's differences, call somebody a she instead of a he, if that's what they want. I don't think that that's particularly demeaning to your personal rights or freedoms, to just be a courteous person and call people what they want to be called. But some people believe that that's stomping on their freedoms to make somebody call somebody what they want to be called. But then if you don't do that, then the person who wants to be called a he or a she doesn't have the freedom to be openly and accepted for who they are. So at the end of the day, there is no freedom. There's civility, there's community, there's caring for your neighbor, and accepting each other for who they are. But if you don't have a sense of the common good and what's best for society, you're never going to thrive in society, because at the end of the day, you're always going to put your own conveniences and presumed freedoms above the needs of other people. And that precludes betterment of society. You might feel free, but you're also contributing to the destruction of a lot of people's lives. And that's your choice. That's your freedom to make that choice. But I just believe that being a part of a society, you kind of buy into the the costs that that you ensue by allowing yourself to reap the privileges that come with that society. So it's just something I was thinking about. I will do a few more videos on kind of on this theme, and I'll be catching up with you again very soon. Have a great rest of your day, and remember, don't be afraid to question the consensus.